Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm afraid I'm going to have to take a few minutes of your time to nerd out slightly. I have a few confessions to make. I'm a physicist student, and during the summer, I occasionally read the odd bit of physics text.
Occasionally read the odd bit of physics.
And occasionally do an odd exercise or two.
Mm-hmm.
But one exercise that interests me in particular, so much so that I actually did a wee bit of reading behind it because it was really interesting and it surprised me. Okay, so picture this. What's the fastest way to get from here to, say, Australia at the minute? What do you think, Shane?
Hands up. That would be plane, and
Oh, that would be playing. It takes a bit of a
they
while.
got rid of Concorde though.
It would be
The elites got rid of Concorde.
The elites did get rid of Concorde according to some.
Yeah.
Right.
It was
That
the
is
Patriots started to bring it back though.
that is the current fastest man. But think about ignoring the practical difficulties at the minute. Imagine drilling a hole directly downward. Australia isn't quite south of us, but give or take.
Like the Russian researchers in Siberia. This is another conspiracy theory. I think we'll save it for the next show.
Okay, just like those Russians,
Yeah.
they get straight down.
It totally happened.
A straight from right here in Belfast all the way to Australia, and like a tube maybe 10 feet in diameter, so you can fit it like a little pod. And imagine that you greased it up well so that there's no friction, and so on and so forth. And then you just got your people at the top, got your willing volunteers who are a wee bit crazy, and drop them there. How long would it take you to get to Australia? What do you think, Shay?
Roughly 42 minutes.
Oh, shit. It's almost as though I told you about it before the show.
Yeah.
That's correct, Shay. That is
Yeah.
spot on.
Thanks.
42 minutes.
See, it's just the same physics as yeah. I don't know.
No, actually, I will phone it in just like you're about to phone it in.
Yeah.
It actually only takes 42 minutes. So from here to Australia, you could get there in 42 minutes. And the funny thing is that if you dug exact same type of hole, not just from here to Australia, but from here to America, say, of course, you'd have to go in a different direction. Or from here to Canada, or from Canada to Japan, or from Japan to Peru. As long as you go in a straight direction, no matter what sort of angle you're going at, they would all take 42 minutes on the spot. That's just, it's based on the way that the Earth's gravity works. The Earth's gravity goes as 1 over r squared, and so when you're inside the Earth, it actually goes as r, so the further out you go, the more it pulls. So if you're at the very, very centre, for example, there'd be none. You get pulled equally from every direction, so you wouldn't get any.
Yeah.
And so it works just like a spring, basically. And so there's why it takes the same amount of time no matter which 2 points you go between.
Okay.
And so this, of course, like everything in physics, is bent on a lot of approximations. First of all, there's a lot of difficulties associated with this. First of all, you'd have to eliminate air resistance altogether, which is pretty much impossible. You'd also have to eliminate friction, which is pretty much impossible. But even if you minimize it, think about that there. If you manage to minimize those, the only fuel it would cost for these journeys is the amount of fuel it would take to override the friction and the air resistance. It would pretty much be a zero fuel means of transportation.
Yeah.
So, although it would cost a lot to build it, after you got it built,
Yeah.
And so that's a sort of an aside. The real practical difficulty, of course, is that the Earth isn't just rock the whole way down. Of course, it has the core, which is
magma.
You got magma. You got iron, nickel spinning around in a fiery bunch of molten lava, pretty much. Very, very complicated. Very well studied by a lot of smart people. But the main point is humans, as of yet, haven't invented any kind of a material that would withstand that pressure. Let alone never mind withstand it. Even if we could get something to withstand it, we don't have anything that could firmly insulate. So even if you could magically get something to sort of survive, the occupants would still be boiled alive. So at the minute, this is pretty much an unfeasible sort of idea, sort of spitball. It was originally spitballed by Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke was was a famous physicist. English physicist. English.
Shout out to A-level physicist.
Shout out to the A-level physicist. Yes, Hooke's law. And he wrote it to a letter to Isaac Newton about it. I found it interesting. Just wrote a letter to Newton talking about it, and it wasn't actually that well covered at all because of its lack of practicalities, but it has been dipped into every now and again. And so the main issues, of course, being that the Earth has an atmosphere, which it's hard to override. That's where the friction comes from. And the Earth has a molten core. So those are the two main issues. Like, for example, if you did it on the moon has no atmosphere. And the moon is pretty much the same material all the way down. It doesn't have a molten iron core. So if you could do it on the moon...
You could build You could build military bases on the moon. I think that's what's happening then. So military bases are on the dark side of the moon. For espionage purposes, they go to the lit side of the moon, and then once they need to retreat, there's no running, leaving footprints over the moon, which never disappear.
That's right.
And they just shoot back to the other side of the moon where the military bases are.
Okay, and they've got like a little cover.
A little cover for the escape thing.
For the hole.
Yeah. Do you know there was some structure discovered? I don't know if it was on the moon or maybe Mars, but it was like some cuboid sort of structure discovered. Yeah.
What sort of size was this thing? Was it?
I have no idea. Like it was a picture and it was from space.
Was there no like little map thing at the bottom, like miles and inches? And
no, they didn't give me a reference.
No little legend thing at the bottom that gives you a scale.
No.
That would have been helpful.
Yeah. So that's what I think was happening now.
Okay, so I've given you some
the hard evidence.
Well, not necessarily the hard evidence, but I've given you some more structure to the story.
Yes, yeah.
But fundamentally, I just wanted to speak about that because I thought it was very, very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, back to the physics about it.
You know, that is just, I suppose, a lot of the reason a lot of people do physics because they just find it interesting. I thought that was a very interesting thing that you could get from some point in the world to any other point in just 42 minutes with pretty much no petrol at all.
No petrol at all. And if we mastered nuclear fusion, that's a completely green way of travelling.
It is.
Yeah. Is there any inroads being made towards nuclear fusion?
Well, it has been researched since, I think, before the 50s. There was a whole lot of...
50s?
Yes. I think a lot of research
when did they actually find out that nuclear fusion was occurring in stars?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
Interesting theory. Somebody proposed.
I do remember the story about the man who proposed.
Oh, it was... he said...
Can I tell?
Okay, you.
I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he had figured it out with, I think, two colleagues he was working with, and he had figured out because there was a sort of question associated with if the stars were made of the same thing that we light the fire with carbon and stuff like that. Sort of elementary calculation would show that they wouldn't last very long.
Okay.
The stars shouldn't shine for as long as they have done.
Yes.
And so there was a sort of scientific question. Well, why are they still shining?
Yeah.
And so this was figured out by, I think it was three gentlemen, and I can't recall their names. But one of them had figured it out, and then on that night, or the night afterwards, he went out on a date with a girl. It might have been his wife, it might have been his girlfriend, I can't recall.
Okay, morals aside.
That's more aside, but they looked up at the stars on their little romantic date.
Yeah.
And the girls...
Reminds of us in many ways.
And I think the girl said something to the effect of, God, look at the stars, isn't it lovely that everybody can see how they shine? Isn't it lovely that everybody can see that there?
Uh-huh.
And I think he replied something to the effect of, yes, but at the minute I'm the only man in the world that knows why they shine.
Got him.
And at which point she told him to stop talking rubbish.
Oh, I was thinking of a different one. It was everybody nobody believed his hypothesis that nuclear fusion was occurring in stars because they thought maybe the pressure or the temperature associated wasn't actually great enough for nuclear fusion to occur. And he said, okay, this is actually going to be a massive anticlimax. But he said, what was it? If it's not hotter, find a hotter place. This is a way of saying go to hell. Yeah. So
that was the polite physicist
version.
Boom! That was the polite physicist version of a roast.
Yeah. Yeah, that's 360 no scope 420. Sunglasses. Hit markers right there.
Now, we were speaking of nuclear fusion. I can't exactly recall the history, but it's a very, very complicated issue, and it's not going to be solved anytime soon. It's going to take a lot of very brilliant minds. It's not necessarily the actual physics of it, although that's complicated enough.
It's a containment vessel?
But it's trying to contain, and it's also trying to get, at the minute they have managed to contain nuclear fusion, but it was to the extent where you put, say, a 20 energy in and you get only 5 out.
Oh, okay.
So they've been able to do nuclear fusion, but they haven't made it. There's no point.
I thought the point of nuclear fusion is to
get energy out.
It's sort of positive. It's you know what I mean. You get more energy.
You get more than you put in.
Yeah,
that's sort of the end goal.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, if I remember correctly, I was told that they've gotten to the stage where they've.
Was that by your fanboy?
Where they've. No, it wasn't by my fanboy. It was by my lecturer.
That's a joke, everybody.
That's an inside joke. It was by my lecturer, and he said that they had just about gotten to the stage where they're kind of equaling it.
Right.
So they're kind of getting out the same amount that they put in, but it's still only very small.
Would that still be more efficient than all the other forms of energy that we use?
Well, if they get it working.
Oh, okay, yeah.
At the minute, it's the least efficient because they're not getting anything out.
Yeah.
Everything's more efficient because everything else gets you some.
Mm-hmm.
At the minute, they're only getting very, very, very little.
Yes, yeah.
And this isn't a new problem, nuclear fusion. This has been investigated and tried to be implemented for the last 50 or so years.
Right.
Loads of different structures and loads of different methods, magnetic containment, inertial containment, all these different ways of trying to figure out how we can access this power. And it's taken a lot of the great minds of our world their whole lifetime to get a little bit closer to it. And it is sort of a holy grail. It's almost an end goal, if you like.
Yeah.
I mean, the fossil fuel crisis would be severely reduced if we could master this year.
The only thing you would need was seawater, really, as a raw material for it.
Yeah, and not that much actually.
Not that much. Right.
No, so you wouldn't deplenish the sea.
Yeah. I know. I saw in the documentary it said unlimited resource like the sea, and I thought, oh, wait a minute,
it's not quite.
Not quite unlimited. Yeah.
Yeah, but they used to say that about fossil fuels because there's so much of them.
Yeah, yeah. We're still basically drilling into the ground and burning stuff.
Pretty much.
That's essentially what we're doing.
Yeah, but it was that idea only came about a short while ago.
Really?
To actually do it to the industrial scale.
Yeah.
You might have had some sort of implementation of it to a small scale, but to actually do it at an industrial level has only been around for the past few hundred years.
What year was the Industrial Revolution? Just quickly.
Well,
it's actually might be later than you think. Earlier than you think, actually.
I don't know if you can call the Industrial Revolution a year. It's like saying the Renaissance has a year.
Yeah.
Because the people during that time didn't think, oh, it's the Industrial Revolution.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know, it's a gradual thing. It's a gradual increase of technology. It's a gradual increase of scientific progress. It's a gradual increase in various things in efficiency.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can pinpoint it to an exact. I'm sure you could call it like the invention of the steam engine, or maybe, I know when James Watt did his steam engine, or when a certain device was devised which is more efficient than what was previously by a long way.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not exactly sure if you could pin it down precisely.
Yeah, it was late 1700s, I think, is the accepted sort of year.
Yeah, you could probably get an approximate date.
Mm-hmm.
Important part of history, though.
Very important, yeah.
So it's sort of, it doesn't have really
1776 will commence again! That's a reference to Alex Jones. That was the Declaration of Independence.
It's a quality reference, folks, I have to say.
Yeah, I don't fully understand what he means by it. If you try to take our guns, is he saying you will make a breakaway state? Or?
I think he's referring to like an armed...
uprising?
Well, in this case it wouldn't be an uprising, but an armed...
Like a dissidency or something?
A conflict, I suppose he's referencing. There would be an armed conflict between the Americans and the British.
Okay.
I think that's what he's trying to get at, but he can't really put in the subtlety and the nuance while shouting.
You are not getting your hands on our firearms. Do you understand that? That's it in a nutshell.
Yes.
You know, a more
we
condensed,
as amateur,
more condensed, more entertaining version of what he was saying.
We as amateur radio presenters do not agree with Alex Jones on his ideas, but in terms of his delivery, we are strong admirers.
Yes, he is phenomenal, visionary. It's like a second Renaissance. Actually, want to bring that back. Second Renaissance. Just the amount of the opportunity that's out there now, really, with the internet, like YouTube.
Yeah.
Like you can actually, there are YouTubers who make a living through YouTube.
It is incredible to think about, like.
Yeah, and alternative media sources, really.
I know. I do think it's brilliant because, I mean, previously there was a sort of a gateway, if you know what I mean, to become a sort of a celebrity, if you like.
Yeah, you have to go through like a sort of elite sort of.
Not really elite, but you would have to get by producers. You would have to get by agents. You would have to go through so many people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we agents and work your way up and blah 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 blah, and so on and so forth. And there would be legitimate channels which you would slowly work your way up, and eventually you'd be a presenter on, I don't know, Blue Peter.
Yeah.
You know, and you'll be living the dream.
Yeah.
But now, individuals who are only 16, 17, who
can make absolutely terrible, poorly edited videos and get 2 million subscribers.
Can work hard, can find a fan base, and can appeal to people. Can have
Minecraft. Can play Minecraft. Record them playing Minecraft. Do a voiceover. Upload it. There are plenty of legitimate, very interesting YouTubers out there. Yeah. No slant on Minecraft.
Yes.
The music in Minecraft is very good.
Okay, there will always be. What would you call? There will always be media which isn't particularly nuanced.
Yeah,
That's true. Before the internet, it'll be true.
it's just a prank, bro.
Yes,
those
yeah.
videos where basically they see how far they can get away with something.
Yes, those people are repugnant.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do think, although there is things which we would not deem quality, I do think that the metric is a lot better. Now you'll be judged solely on the audience that you get.
Yeah.
Rather than will you pass through this producer, will you pass through that producer, will you get the audition? It's a more direct judgment.
Yeah.
And so you sink or swim based on what you put out there.
Yeah, yeah. You don't have to compromise either.
No, exactly. You're self-employed. If you manage to get to that stage, you can expound your own opinions.
Yeah.
Provided you're not in with a network or something like that. That is a sort of part of a lot of individuals. They're sort of tied in with like a Disney network, or they're tied in with like a Machinima network or whatever.
Yeah.
But aside from those examples, it is a nice example of a meritocracy where the content that you put out, you get back what you put out. Like
meritocracy being it's all based on merit, really.
Yeah. Of course, we can go into the ifs and buts of Minecraft people getting millions and millions and blah 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 blah.
Can we dwell more on the repugnant? It's just a prank, bro. Content, like, and what's even more insulting is they're trying to add videos called social experiments.
Oh yeah, I have seen a couple of where they just go social experiment and cap letters, and then as just an excuse to whatever they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, and if it goes well, it's like, oh, it's no social experiment. We'll edit that out.
No, I would argue that
smashes a car window in. It's just a social experiment, bro.
No, a lot of those sort of social experiment pranks, whatever, are fake, are duplicitous.
You could say the prank is on us.
Shit, that's ridiculous.
What's ridiculous about that? They pay.
Okay,
They get actors to say, "Can you do this?" and act shocked when I do it, or in another case, don't act shocked when I do it, and then they put it on YouTube and they get 4 million subscribers, and people just lap it up. They are the people getting pranked.
No, I would argue that it's a lot more accepted nowadays that they are faked. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's no longer.
It's actually.
It's no longer like an industry secret or whatever you want to call it, or it's no longer like a thing that you talk about hushed.
Yeah,
you know, it's no longer.
It's no more taboo, you could say. Well, it's not even taboo. It's not taboo. It's just
maybe not hushed or whatever, or it's kept quiet, but it's accepted.
Yeah,
accepted. A lot of people go. A lot of people. Some people don't.
It's part of the trade, I suppose.
Yeah, it is duplicitous, and it is.
Nice word.
Thank you. It is. It's not honest, but
no.
I mean, I would argue. I'm going to sound a bit harsh here, but I would argue that if you're fooled by something like that, you're going to be fooled by anything. What do you expect?
Yeah.
If you're fooled by knife prank gone wrong, exclamation points, brackets in the hood, blah blah blah. What they always put at the end of every silly prank video, and a million tags of things that aren't even relevant, but then you go on to that thinking that it's genuine, thinking, I wonder what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, you take what you get.
You take what you get.
I mean, you're going to be in a pyramid scheme before you're 25. Like,
but those people who can be really influenced.
Yeah, that's where I would.
Yes,
that's.
Yeah. Well, if this is real, I'll go out and try this.
Yes, when it comes to stuff like children, for example.
Well, not even children. Well, if
you're over 18, I don't care.
No, but they can have a negative effect on other people.
Yeah, but essentially, I don't care.
You don't care that
if they're over, if
subject of something.
If they're over 18, they're able to watch whatever they want, and they're able to make up their own minds about it.
I'm not policing against what they're watching. I'm saying there could be very negative. Like, I'm not saying it's negative for the 18-year-olds necessarily. It probably will be, but it's negative for. Do you know Joey Salads?
I've heard of a couple of stories involving him.
He goes out doing videos of, well, he's done a number of things. He might go into like a black neighborhood and say something anti-Black Lives Matter or something, or he might go up to people and say, oh, this isn't Joey Salads, it's someone else, but it's like, we'll play a game, and if you can't follow this, we get to kiss or something. Now, if somebody, and that's putting it mildly, because it accelerates after that.
Oh.
Yeah. And so if somebody were tricked into thinking, oh wow, you could win somebody over like a magic trick. That's not really a trick. That's just sort of, well, that's a very poor magic trick. They might go out and do that. They might go out and you see
and they'll get their face slapped off them, and that's what they'll get.
Yeah, but I'm worried more so about the victim and not the perpetrator here.
Right. I understand what you're saying, but
yeah, I would rather these things didn't happen rather than.
Yes, I understand what you're saying, but I still say to a certain extent, if you're over 18 and if you're watching that and if you are at the stage where you're being fooled by things which are so obviously fictional.
Do you know those videos where the name is all capitals and the thumbnail might be like a circle and a red arrow?
Yes.
And that sort of thing.
Yes, if you go into that thinking I'm about to receive
this seems legit.
if you go into that thinking I'm about to receive genuine information,
yeah,
then I don't know what to say to you. I
don't
really
want to do business with you. It's blue cheese or sorry, inside joke, people.
No, I do agree with what you said initially, where if you talk about something like maybe a child, view something like that and goes, oh, I'll do something like that there.
Yeah.
Maybe if they're 10 or 11, I would go, yeah, their brain's not fully developed, they're not wise to the world yet, and it shouldn't be on them to, it shouldn't be expected for them to make
filter it out
proper decisions about what they're watching, or not necessarily proper decisions, but be able to tell the rubbish from the genuineness.
Yes, yeah, I agree with that.
And so you could argue that maybe those sort of videos should have like an age restriction, or should have some sort of a warning beforehand, or something do not try this at home, or you could argue that maybe that should be implemented on a video like that there, where it could cause this here a kind of a negative consequence. It still depends on context. It depends on the video. It depends on what the actual subject matter is. I mean, some fake pranks are fairly innocuous, fairly harmless, and it doesn't really matter. And then some are
got pranked, bro. And it's not really a prank. It's just an inconvenience.
And then some are very sinister.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to sort of.
What do you think of those pranks where it's like a car park late at night and somebody emerges behind a car with like a chainsaw or something?
Yeah, those people should be arrested.
Yeah, I really despise that.
yeah, those people should be arrested.
Yeah. They're also a danger to themselves.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say maybe a fake chainsaw.
No, I think they just put the lock thing on and rev the engine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not a fan of that.
No. Those people should be arrested immediately.
Yeah. Well, with that contentious issue, I think we'll play a bit of music. I think